Welcome to another week of the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. He's Otis Kirk. I'm Will Monclair. Otis, that was a very exciting week for recruiting. 2 4-star pickups for the Razorbacks. It was an enormous deal on social media, and I don't know if that's just because we have absolutely nothing else going on sports-wise, but it is a very large deal. How big were these 2 pickups? Braylon Russell and Selman Bridges. Russell from Arkansas.
Yeah, Benton, Arkansas. It's one of the best nights in Arkansas football recruiting history. I'm not gonna say it was the best because you can get into these days but it was one of the best. I mean, you're talking about getting 2 kids that are impact recruits that had offers from all over the country. You could even, and I know a lot was made out of Pittman being like 1 for 7 or 1 for 8 in July till Friday night. But you also got, Ashton Bethel Roman, the 4-star out of.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, man, all commitments are not the same. Some of the kids, they weren't as high on as others. Some of them they wanted, they just didn't get. And then some of them, they really never had a chance out of that 8 anyway. But Friday night put an exclamation point on recruiting. What you got 2 players that are, just like I said, are impact players. Russell's 6'2", 230. Chose Arkansas over South Carolina, and then Tennessee was 3rd. Had a lot of other offers. I mean, this is a kid that visited Baylor as well. Could have gone to other schools, but really meant a lot to him to stay home. He committed to Arkansas early. I think I told you the story of when he was a freshman.
Yeah.
He was at the football camp, and there was a scout with me, and he thought this kid was a senior, and he was he just completed the 9th grade. And Braylon was huge. He was probably 6'1", 215 then. He wasn't 6'2", 230, but he was big.
Wow.
But Braylon is just a type running back. They've got a deep room, but he can come in and give them touches and gradually eventually move into the man in time. And I'm not saying this season, I'm just talking about in time. He can be the kid that everybody in the SEC points to as, hey, there's a great running back. Selman Bridges, 6'4" cornerback. He looks more like somebody that Eric Musselman or Kenny Guyton would recruit. Tall kid. You don't see very many cornerbacks the size of Selman Bridges. And 6'4", he can match up with those tall kids, the Isaac, the Andrew Armstrong, the tall kids, Tyrone Broden, the tall kids around the SEC, and even on the Arkansas team, that they will, that's, you need tall cornerbacks, and that's just not very many that combine. And both these kids have very good speed. Selman, he is a track guy, and so it's been a very good month of July. I know they didn't get everybody they want, but those 2 kids really, like I said, we'll put an exclamation point on recruiting. I mean, that was a big night for them. There's no other way to put it. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not hyping it up. I'm just telling you, those were 2 legit players. When I was on here last Sunday, I wasn't for sure they would get Russell. I knew they were getting Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
But on Tuesday, it's the first time that I found out they were getting Russell. And according to my source, that they felt really good about getting Russell. If nothing, of course, when I say I knew they were going to get some, if nothing changed, and in recruiting, sure, things could change, because I thought but it looked good on Tuesday. It's when the first time it really looked good that I know of for Braylon Russell. And then I tell you, Selman's dad played a big role in him coming to Arkansas as well. He really wanted the Razorbacks over Texas. Selman chose Arkansas over Texas, TCU, Southern Cal, and many others. He visited Texas and TCU. Heck, Will, I mean, they're sitting right now at 16 commitments.
Right. Now, Otis, after these 3 guys committing, where do you think the class is as a whole?
Okay, I'll tell you what I've got 3 recruiting services. 3 major recruiting services have them ranked. 24/7 Composite and 24/7 Sports both have them 17th in the country. Wow. On 3 has them 15. I believe that's their composite. On 3 has them 15th in the country, and Rivals has them 18th in the country. So it's a top 20 class right now. 16 commitments. I've even got it broken down to, they've got 1 quarterback, so they're finished there.
Mm-hmm.
Running back, they've got 2. with one of them being an athlete. Jaden Bogg is more of an athlete than a true running back. He can play receiver, running back. He can play a lot of positions, but Braylon is a true running back. They're finished at running back. Wide receiver, they've got 3. I think they're finished from the high school ranks, I would say, Will. Because you've got, like I said, you got Jaden Bogg, Nareel White. You've got some guys that can play wide receiver if you need them to play there. So you're okay at receiver. They do need a tight end. They don't have a tight end. They brought in the kid from California. They didn't get him. Offensive line, Cody's got 2 guards, interior players. Maybe I should say interior instead of guards because they may play center. The kid from Kentucky may play center, but they don't have a tackle. They need 2 more tackles and probably maybe another interior lineman from the high school if they take 5 from the high school. On defensive side, you got 2 defensive ends committed, and those 2 defensive ends are about like the 2 kids that committed Friday night. They're as good as anybody in the country.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, Otis.
Huh?
I was going to say that's awesome to hear. Do you think they still have time to get a tight end?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've got plenty of time to get a tight end. You've got Charlie Collins and Kavion Henderson at defensive end. You don't have any defensive tackles. Of course, they had a very good one in Deion Studs, and we know what happened there. So, I mean, very unfortunate. They've got a linebacker, I guess, and, he's an athlete, so he could play other positions. They've got 5 defensive backs. So they're sitting pretty good there. The needs, I think, left, and they have time to get the tight end. They have time to get all these kids, but tight end, offensive tackles, defensive tackles, linebacker, and safety is what Arkansas's needs are left in recruiting. Now, we got to understand they're at 16 commitments. They'll probably sign 20 in the 20 range in high school, fill it out with portal kids. So if you don't get last year, they signed 2 tight ends from the high school and 2 tight ends from the portal. So they're not desperate at tight end. But if Marquise Gumbs, even though he's a transfer, has eligibility remaining beyond this season, of course, we know about Luke and Shamar, 2 of the prizes of the last class. So, and then Ty Washington will be a redshirt freshman this season. So they're sitting good at tight end, but they will sign one. Probably either get a high school kid or a young kid out of the portal. I mean, they don't need an older kid to come in because I think Marquise Gumbs, Luke and Shamar and those kids and Ty take care of that. So, but on defensive tackle, they'll need some need. They've got some needs there, but Deke Adams, don't worry about his recruiting. He signed 4 defensive linemen out of the portal last year that are capable of starting in the SEC. I mean, they're all big time players. Tank Booker, Kiwi Rose, John Morgan, and of course Trajan Jeffcoat.
Yeah.
Linebacker, they took a hit when Brian Huff went to Missouri and some of the other kids went other places. Huff was so close at one point to committing to Arkansas. He's from Valley View, for anyone who doesn't know, a 4-star Valley View, that he went to Missouri. Even the same way offensive tackle, Jerome McCoy, Shaq, went to Oregon. There's still a chance. It's signing day is not till December, so these kids haven't signed yet. Arkansas is not going to give up on a couple of these kids, Will. So they're not. And just like schools are not going to give up on the Arkansas kids, they're committed either. So there's still a lot of recruiting to be done, but I feel pretty good about it. And then I tell you, man, Jimmy Smith, Kenny Guyton, Marcus Woodson, those 3 guys knocked it out of the park.
They're doing their job. We were listening to I think it was the Braylon interview, and he was asked, why recommit to Arkansas? And he said after every visit he went on, Sam reached out to him, called him that night. They had full conversations. He obviously didn't get into what they talked about, but it shows the caring and the recruiting nature that these coaches have. And it's incredible to see what they're doing, especially right out of the gate with the new coaching staff that they have. Otis, big week coming up here. We're going to hear from a lot of coaches. You excited for SEC Media Days? I know you're not going, but it's always good for some bullet. I'm sure we'll be talking about it next week.
I'm grounded. I don't get to go very many places. So,
Me
I guess
neither.
I'm grounded. I do
get to go someplace. I'm not going to say no.
But, I mean, one thing about Media Day is football's drawing near when that happens. So, Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here, with the season. I still think I wrote a story this week on football. Well, I don't know if you saw it or not, where
Yeah.
last Monday there was a lot of talk of Arkansas being 6-6 this season, and I don't think that happens. I broke down the schedules, what I did.
You think
And
better?
huh?
You think
Yeah, I
better?
think it'll be better than that. I think what the key is going to be winning your home games.
Yeah.
The key is going to be winning your home games. Then you've got some games. Now A&M's counted as a home game, but it's not a home game. But you've got some games like Texas A&M, at Ole Miss, at Florida, that you need to win one or two of those, or win those. But you got to win your home games. If you do that, you've got 7 wins in your pocket right there. If you win your home games, I'm talking about the game in Little Rock and the games in Fayetteville. You got 7 wins if you take care of business at home. That's 7 wins. That gets you above the 6. Then if you beat A&M, or you beat Florida, or you beat Ole Miss, the other one I said, then you're at 8. You win 2, you're at 9. The
Yeah.
main thing is just take care of your home field. And yeah, I think they will, and I do think they'll be better than 6-6. Will, yes.
I know. Football season's seriously right around the corner here. But Otis, we really appreciate your time as always, and we appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to check back in next week for another episode of your Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. Thanks, Otis.
You bet. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
You too.